Andarki Namaste and a very warm welcome to the IAS Hub. Every year, near about 30 odd questions are being asked from geography and environment in your preliminary examination. And if you're thorough with this subject, it is at least guaranteed that you will get near about 40 to 50 marks from just this subjects itself. And if you look into the past 2 to 3 years papers, it is very clear that those questions which are asked from geography, except for mapping, it requires exceptional level of conceptual clarity. और कुछ ऐसा टॉपिक्स होता है जिसमें कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी चाहिए ही चाहिए. दैट इज नथिंग बट योर प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स थियरी, कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थियरी, mantle convectional cell theory and seafloor spreading theory. And here these theories are intermingling in nature. एक थियरी को पढ़ने के लिए दूसरी थियरी का नॉलेज चाहिए. और जब प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन आता है, when you start to solve, most of the students get confused and they find difficulty in solving them. और उसके अलावा बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स है, दे स्पेंड डेज टुगेदर रीडिंग दिस टॉपिक्स फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम एंड इसको रिवाइज करने में भी उतना ही टाइम लगता है क्योंकि दे डू नॉट हैव ए कंसोलिडेटेड नोट्स एट वन सिंगल प्लेस विच इंटीग्रेट्स प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स थियरी, कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थियरी एंड सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग थियरी. Now imagine if you have all this content at one single place in a consolidated manner, don't you think that you can do well in your preliminary examination? Definitely. Or the revision card that I have with me currently does the same work. Now this revision card has continental drift theory, plate tectonic theory, seafloor spreading theory, mantle convectional cell theory और उसका जो related examples है सारे चीज एक जगह. Now in this video, I'll also help you to solve few questions that are asked in the UPSC examination and those questions which are expected for the preliminary examination as well. At the same time, what we'll also do is I'll also explain you the conceptual clarity behind this and I'll also explain how to use this content for your examination and revise them in the quickest possible time. और ये भी चेक करेंगे इससे हमारा previous year question solve हो रहा है कि नहीं, right? And before I start this video, let me tell you, for you to get this revision cards, what you can do is you can go to the Google search और Google search में जाके आप you can search prelims high output team. Go and search the prelims high output teams or the IAS Hub. There you can go and get this prelims high output teams. Here high output teams says that those areas where the UPSC questions have been asked and those areas that UPSC questions can be asked based on the previous 10 years question papers. Now for each of these subjects, you can go and download them. They are available. अगर आप download press करते हो, this can be downloaded. Apart from this, you will also have revision cards यहाँ पे और yes, you can also directly go to the free resources and you can get all of this content here. Okay, now come back. Here, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to understand and discuss the entire plate tectonics theory, continental drift theory and seafloor spreading theory in a very short possible time. और इसको हम आगे एग्जामिनेशन में कैसे इस्तेमाल करेंगे वो भी चेक करेंगे. Now come back. I also want you to know some basics about the continental drift theory. Everyone knows that जैसे Earth is made up of number of plates और इस number of plates that can be divided into either continental plate होगा या oceanic plate होगा. Now these plates are moving because of a theory called mantle convectional cell theory. And in this, either the continents collide or these continents move away from each other or the continents slide past each other. जब भी ऐसा कोई प्रोसेस होता है, कुछ नया लैंडफॉर्म्स बनता है, कुछ ऐसा लैंडफॉर्म्स डिस्ट्रॉय भी होता है. कौन सा ऐसा लैंडफॉर्म से जो बन रहा है, कौन सा ऐसा लैंडफॉर्म से जो डिस्ट्रॉय हो रहा है, इज द सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग और द सी फ्लोर डिस्ट्रॉयड. नो दीज आर सम थिंग्स व्हिच कैन बी आस्क्ड इन योर एग्जामिनेशंस और ये चीज पूछा भी गया. लेट अस सी व्हाट दिस रिविजन कार्ड हैज एंड हाउ यू कैन यूज दिस. See, you know that the earth is divided into n number of plates. Now these are the plates, right? दिखने में ये काफी complicated लग रहा है, right? But hardly there are 7 major plates and n number of minor plates. आप हर एक प्लेट को याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो मेजर प्लेट्स as well as important minor plates को आपको याद करना है. Now come back. You know that this earth is divided into n number of plates और इसका movement is leading to the formation of few landforms. Now see, any plate can be divided into either it is a divergent plate or it is a convergent plate or it is a transform plate. Now, within the divergent plates, there can be an oceanic plate, there can be a continental plate, they can move away from each other. Likewise, ये continent हो सकता है, ये continent हो सकता है, which can move away from each other. So, there are two different types of interactions. Now, oceanic plate can move away from each other or diverge from each other. Continent can diverge from each other. Now, this column will tell you, is the seafloor created or the seafloor destroyed? Imagine that whenever oceanic plate is moving away from each other और divergence हो रहा है, यहाँ पे seafloor create होता है. Now, is there any example? That is your middle oceanic ridge. ये middle oceanic ridge कहाँ पर है? If you see, the middle oceanic ridge is present in the Atlantic Ocean, right? You know that the plate boundary here, look at this. This is your plate. So, ये है आपका Atlantic Ocean, right? Now, within this Atlantic Ocean, you see that here the plates are diverging away from each other. Now, you know that as these two plates diverge, there is volcanism activity that is present here. मतलब volcanoes भी मिलता है और साथ के साथ यहाँ पे new landforms are being formed, ridges भी बन रहा है. That means यहाँ पे new sea floor is being created, right? So that is what is being written in the tabular format so that you can revise it very quickly. So sea floor क्या हो रहा है? Destroy. Sea floor is getting created. Now, what is the tectonic process involved here? The tectonic process is nothing but the sea floor is spreading. Sea floor features क्या है? The sea floor features are middle oceanic ridges. Now, how does this middle oceanic ridges look? They look like this. देखिए, इंडियन ओशन में भी कई सारे रीजस है. जहां जहां ओशन में रीजस बन रहा है ना, वहां पर आपको डाइवर्जेंस दिखेगा मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स, राइट? सो दिस इज ऑल्सो ए डाइवर्जेंस प्लेट. नाउ इफ यू लुक इनटू अदर ओशंस, हियर ऑल्सो यू विल फाइंड डाइवर्जेंस. ठीक है, ये मिडिल ओशनिक रीजस, ईस्ट ओशनिक रीजस, दीज आर डाइवर्जेंस, राइट? सो लाइकवाइज इफ यू लुक इनटू दिस रिविजन चार्ट और रिविजन कार्ड, यहां पे एग्जांपल्स दिया है. दैट इज मिड अटलांटिक रिज, ईस्ट पैसिफिक रिज. ये ईस्ट पैसिफिक रिज पैसिफिक ओशन में है. Now, once you know the basics of this, most of the questions will be asked in these areas itself. Now, come to the continental drifting apart. ये कहाँ पे हो रहा है? ये हो रहा है रिफ्ट वैली ऑफ अफ्रीका में. और is the sea floor created or destroyed? Yes, the sea floor is created. बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है sea floor कैसे क्रिएट हो रहा है. देखो यार, जब भी दो कॉन्टिनेंट्स अलग होता है, the new landform that is being formed, it is basaltic in nature. और वहां पे सी बनता है. एग्जाम्पल अफ्रीकन रिफ्ट वैली. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस अफ्रीकन रिफ्ट वैली? अफ्रीकन रिफ्ट वैली में यू सी दैट दिस पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका विच इज देयर, दिस पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका एंड दिस पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका, दे आर एक्चुअली मूविंग अवे फ्रॉम ईच अदर. नाउ टुमारो द न्यू शेप ऑफ अफ्रीका विल बी लाइक दिस. दैट मीन्स दिस पार्ट ऑफ अफ्रीका हैज मूव्ड आउट and then you will find a new ocean in between. और यहां पे sea floor बन जाएगा. Right? Now, is the sea floor created or destroyed? The sea floor is created. So let's go back to the revision card and again check. Yes, here sea floor is created. Likewise, what is the tectonic process that is happening here? It is continental rifting. African Rift Valley is an example. Now, East African Rift Valley, Red Sea अगर देखा जाए, यहां देखो, I'll show you. You zoom in and see, it is very, very clearly identifiable that this part of the region is having a rift. Can you see it here? This is a rift. And it is quite clearly evident here. So, when you know the examples and the process, it becomes quite easy for you to solve the questions as well. Likewise, आप देखो, let's come to the convergent plate boundary. Now, in the convergent plate boundary, the convergence can be between ocean-continent, ocean, as well as continental convergence भी हो सकता है. Now, what is the best example for ocean and continent? The best example for the ocean and continental convergence is your Nazca plate and your South American plate. Look here. This is your South American plate and this part of the plate is called as Nazca plate. देखो यार, यहाँ पे Nazca plate is moving in this direction and South American plate is also moving in this direction. Now, what kind of processes that are involved here? What are the landforms that are being formed that you need to know? See, यहाँ पर you will also get mountains. These mountains are Andes. So let me show you to you on a practical terms. देखो यहाँ पे, so this is your Nazca plate and this is your South American plate. As this plate is moving in this direction, here you will get to see the formation of mountains, and these mountains are volcanic in nature. ठीक है, और यहाँ पे trenches भी बनता है. Now you zoom in and see, you can see that there are deep trenches that are being formed. That means trenches are also formed, volcanic mountains are also formed. So this kind of interaction will lead to the formation of one. Here is the seafloor created or destroyed? The seafloor is destroyed. That means the seafloor is going and melting into the mantle. Now what is happening here? Subduction हो रहा है यहाँ पे. Trenches, volcanic activity and volcanic mountains. Examples: Peru Chile Trench and Andes Mountains. Right? So likewise, you go to the convergent plate boundary of oceanic in nature. Oceanic in nature का convergent plate boundary है. The best example is your Mariana Trench or else Aleutian Islands. Now where is this Aleutian Islands and Mariana Trench? Let me show it to you here. देखो, you go to this part of the earth. Now here you see that this is an oceanic plate, and this is also an oceanic plate. यहाँ पर, as they both are moving against each other, here this is also ocean, this is also ocean. That means these islands which are being formed, they are called as Aleutian Islands. और यहाँ पे trenches भी है. ये जो trench है, if I take you deep here, this trench is quite clear, right? इस trench को कहा जाता है Aleutian Trench, right? Likewise, you also have Mariana Trench. Now where is Mariana Trench? Again in the Pacific Ocean. So this is your oceanic convergence and subduction हो रहा है. Mariana Trench is an example, Aleutian Island is an example. So again come back to continental convergence. Neither created nor destroyed. What is the seafloor created or destroyed? Neither created nor destroyed. Now tall mountains, best example are your Himalayas, right? So these are the ways in which you can quickly revise once you have the conceptual clarity. उसके बाद आप transform boundary पे भी जाओ. Look into the transform boundary. Do you find any seafloor creation? The seafloor is neither created nor destroyed. Whereas if you go into the crust type, is the crust created or destroyed? Transform boundary में ना crust create होता है ना crust destroy होता है. It is just earthquakes that are being formed. So this can be oceanic and continental ट्रांसफॉर्म भी होता है और कॉन्टिनेंट भी ट्रांसफॉर्म हो सकता है. और दुनिया का सबसे ज्यादा ट्रांसफॉर्म बाउंड्रीज कहां पर है? दे आर इन द मिडिल ओशियानिक रीजन्स. ओशनिक भी हो सकता है. सो हियर ब्रॉडली स्पीकिंग, इफ यू सी what is the faulting that you get to see? The fault that you get to see is transform fault. Likewise, where do you get them? You get to see them in the San Andreas. You also get to see in the Aleutian fault. So these are the examples. Now, but using them, for example, let me show you the San Andreas fault, जहां पे continental faults देखा जाता है. देखो, your San Andreas fault is this. This is where you will get to see the San Andreas fault. Now here, San Francisco is the biggest city that you are going to see. Now, let me directly take you to few questions and let's try to solve these questions. Yes, question solve हो रहा है कि नहीं? Let's try to check. Now, these are the most expected questions that can be asked in your examination. Now, by using the same revision card, are we able to solve this or not? We'll check. Number one, I also want you to look into the question and अगर आप comment section में answer कर सकते हो तो बढ़िया रहेगा. Let's see. Are we able to solve this or not? Consider the following pits. Now here, the type of plate boundary interactions, as well as here there is a pair that is given. Now they are asked which of the following given pairs are not correctly matched. देखो, type of plate boundary interaction examples. Number 1, divergent plate boundary, Aleutian Islands. Is Aleutian Islands a divergent plate boundary or a convergent plate boundary? Let us go and check. Here you have Aleutian Islands, right? Now come back. This Aleutian Islands, is it convergent? It is convergent. Now it is oceanic convergence. I have already shown you the example. So by that logic, is it right? The statement is wrong. Now convergent plate boundary, East African Rift Valley. Rift tab bhi hoga when there is divergence. So this statement is also wrong. Now transform boundary, San Andreas. I told you San Francisco. Yes, this is your right statement. Now what is the question that is asked? Only 2 pairs are right, only 1 pair is right, all 3 pairs none. Now the answer would be only 2 pairs are right. That is your, sorry, only 2 pairs are not correctly matched. So that is your 1 and 2 is not rightly matched. Right? Now let's try to go and solve another question. Consider the following statements related to the forms of plate boundaries. In divergent boundaries, new crust is generated. And as the plates pull away from each other, in the divergent boundaries, new crust is created. Let us go and check, is the new crust created? So here we have divergence. In the divergence plate boundary, you have created in both the cases. So this statement is absolutely right. Now in the convergent plate boundaries, the crust is destroyed. One plate dives under the other. So let us go and see, is the convergent plate boundary ke andar. So this is your convergence. Is it destroyed? Destroyed. Is it destroyed? Destroyed. So let's go back and check here. This is crust is destroyed. This is right. This is right. Now come to the third statement. In the third statement, it says that the transform boundaries, the crust is neither produced nor destroyed as the plates slide past each other horizontally. Now look, let's go to the transform boundary and check. Transform plate here. Seafloor created or destroyed, or the crust is created or destroyed, neither created nor destroyed. Now by this logic, you can clearly identify that ye jo revision card hai, it will help you to solve. Statement 1 is right, 2 is right, 3 is right. So our answer is all of them are right. Now see here, if you do not have a proper content, then it becomes difficult for you. If you have a proper content and isi cheez ko aap baar baar revise karo, go to this revision card, revise it multiple number of times, and sometimes when you revise multiple number of times, आपका एक इमेज मेमोरी होता है. इमेज मेमोरी ये है, अरे यार यहाँ पे ना 2 divergent plates है. Now the first example that I have learned here is Middle Atlantic Ridge or Mid Oceanic Ridge. So that rote memory, sometimes image memory will also help you to understand. No doubt you will have conceptual clarity, but कभी कभार examination में ना ये जो imagery memory है वो solve करने में मदद करता है जल्दी, quickest possible time period पे. Now for all the questions that you got here, likewise you also have more number of questions. ये सारे questions और explanations के लिए you can also get these questions and you can also download these questions. कहाँ से download कर सकते हो आप? You go to the video of this video, नीचे एक link दिया होगा description में. Now there you will have our Telegram channel, and here as soon as you click on this link, अपना Telegram channel पर these files, PDFs as well as revision cards, all of them are available, right? So यहाँ से जाके आप revision cards को download कर सकते हो, as well as you can also download the questions and explanations as well. You also have the explanations for this given there, and the most important questions are also posted here. Okay, come back and let us also try to solve this question. Now see, oceanic trenches. With reference to plate tectonics, which of the following statements is not correct? The question that is asked here is, oceanic trenches and island arcs are formed at ocean-ocean convergent boundary. So oceanic trenches and island arcs are formed at ocean-oceanic convergence boundary. Let us go and try to look in the revision card. So oceanic trenches कहाँ पे बन रहे हैं? Oceanic trenches, where do you get to see? Trenches are formed in convergent boundary. This is your convergent boundary. और इस convergent boundary में trench is formed. Where else do you find trench? Right? So let's go and check this question. The question is, oceanic trenches and island arcs are formed in the ocean. Yes, this statement is right. Fold mountains are formed at the ocean continental convergence boundary. Fold mountains are formed at ocean and continental convergence boundary. Let us go and check in the ocean and continental convergence boundary. Here, this is your ocean and continental convergence boundary. You can trench, you find volcanic arcs, Peru, Chile, trench, Andes mountains. So Andes mountains are seen here. So even this statement is also right. Submarine ridges are formed at the oceanic divergence. Yes, I've told you middle oceanic ridges kahan pe banta hai. That is also given. So what is the answer? The answer is asked about not correct. The answer is D. Now, this is how one can use the revision cards to solve the previous year questions and the most expected questions. इसको आप क्या करना चाहिए? Just clear your basics and then come back, use these cards and revise multiple number of times. No one can stop you solving the questions that are asked from these topics. And this is what the toppers do. Revise more. And when you revise more, try to solve the questions from the previous year questions and go as per the theme basis. And once you study the themes, you will be easily able to clear the preliminary examination. And ऐसे revision cards के साथ हम आगे भी आने वाले बहुत सारे रिवीजन कार्ड्स है which can help you to solve the preliminary examination. अगर कोई भी डाउट है, you can, our IAS Hub team is always welcome to resolve your doubts. You can post your doubts into the comment section or directly approach us. Thank you, and we'll be coming up with more revision cards in the further time period. Now, कौन सा ऐसा टॉपिक के ऊपर आपको रिवीजन कार्ड चाहिए, आप बता दीजिए. We will be coming up with that topic. Thank you and see you.